Hello, YouTube. Long time no see. I feel like it's been like 2, 3 months. I can't remember the last time I posted a video, but I just felt the need to kind of talk about transitional periods because that's what I'm going through right now. So why not use this as a platform to kind of vent about like real day, current day struggles that I'm like working through right now in my brain. So pretty much I really just wanted to like, and this is not a video trying to give out advice because we are like actively working it out ourselves. As like you're watching this video, yeah, hopefully you're somebody that's in the same kind of position as me and kind of like figuring out what they want to do. So I'm not really here trying to give you advice or tell you what to do. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But anyways, like pretty much this is a period right now where I'm like sending in my applications in for nursing school, and kind of like really at the peak of everything, like at the thick of everything, because I haven't really received any decision letters yet from the schools that I've applied to. So that won't really be until like May, come June or so. So like right now is really a transitional point because like I don't know how things are going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to get acceptance letters to the school that I applied to, and I'm not sure if I will be able to meet the standards, like meet the requirements before like fall semester rolls in. So like pretty much I'm applying to nursing school for fall semester, and I'm applying to like 2 or 3 schools. One of the schools that I'm applying to, it's like for fall semester, but you don't actually start that semester, you start spring semester. But the other schools I will be starting fall semester. So pretty much like this is it. I'm still completing like my classes for spring semester. And I'm happy though that I feel like okay, I'm like almost done. I pretty much got like 2, 3 weeks left, and so just like studying and preparing for finals, and I'm doing pretty well in my classes, so I'm so happy for that as well. But yeah, almost done with like spring semester, and so then I have to take 2 to 3 classes, which are like my prerequisites, to then be able to transfer in the fall. So that's what I have to do in the summertime. And like I don't know if you know anything about like nursing prerequisites, but I'm having to take like anatomy too, and anatomy and physiology too. And I've heard that like it's not any better than like anatomy and physiology 1. So, and this is a summer class, so it's like kind of fast paced. So we're just gonna wait it out and see. Like I'm sure like I'll be okay, but I think I'm gonna suffer for a little bit, and that'll just have to it'll just have to be that way for now. But pretty much this video, as I've been rambling a lot, is all of this just to say that I'm just kind of like mentally all over the place, just kind of like disorganized in my brain. But for some reason I feel like you kind of thrive in like chaos a little bit, at least for me. Like right now it's like I know there's like so much to think about, so much to kind of wrap my head around, but I'm kind of like, in a way, I'm kind of thriving. Like I would say it's kind of like up and down roller coaster of emotions, of feeling okay, pretty set one day, and then feeling pretty anxious or confused, or like am I making, like I think this week the theme of this week has just been, am I making the right decision? So I think that's like kind of what prompted me to make this video, because like that's been a reoccurring theme of the week. Am I making the right decision? Because I feel like a lot of the times you just get caught up in the doing of something, that you don't actually take the step back to see like, okay, although you need to focus on doing, like I'm focused on like getting my prerequisite classes done, I'm focused on applying, I'm focused on doing all these things, that I'm not taking the step back to actually like ask myself like, okay, so am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing this because I genuinely enjoy or have some love for what I want to do and can see myself in the field? Basically saying, am I making the right decision? And I've been asking myself that question like this whole week. Am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Do I want to do this? Because I think I am kind of tied down to the belief that even if it's something you don't want to do, still do it anyways. And I'm taking a sociology class. It's like I'm realizing that's just because of like how I was raised, kind of like the values and culture that I was brought up in. So it's like we really being like Nigerian and a first immigrant student as well, it's kind of like you're kind of forced to settle for an option that's gonna bring you the most stability plus money plus etc, all these things above. So it's like I feel like in other families where you're more like well off and like affluent, it's like you have that decision, you have more like agency over what you want to do, as far as like they always say follow your dreams. And I'm not saying that if you didn't grow up in those type of situations that you can't follow your dreams, but I think the reality of it is that like sometimes you have to put your dreams aside to kind of like face what's in front of you. And this may not be everybody's ideology, so I'm not trying to like impose this ideology on you for you to feel like don't ever follow your dreams. But personally, I feel like if I don't have something that's like burning inside of me that I need to get out to the world, which I feel like I don't at this moment, I kind of have like different passions and different like hobbies and things I do, but nothing has been like a reoccurring thing since I was little, that this is a burning desire and passion of mine that like I must get this out to the world. Because some successful stories, that's what you usually hear, that they had this calling, this gift, this talent, and they just had to pursue it. But since I felt stuck in that way, that I didn't really have that, then that's when I was like, okay, let me do the next best thing, I guess, like something that can kind of really like get my feet on the ground, like dip my toes in the water and kind of launch me into some sort of direction, wherever that is. So that's why I kind of like, I don't want to say I settled on nursing, but I kind of am using this as a launching pad to other things in life, because I don't see myself settling down in this career. But I also see that this will be the best way for me to gain that experience, exposure to real life circumstances and problems. I also feel like I kind of have something in me that wants to help people and has a passion for, you know, helping people. So I just feel like I volunteered and had those experiences. So I just feel like with that, there was a sense of calling to join the nursing or like enroll into the program. And so I'm just kind of like going off of a whim. I feel like it is nothing that is like a burning desire of mine, but it's something that is like a faint, I feel like this is where I need to be. So I'm like, okay, should I just listen to that faint voice in my head that it's like, you know, even though everything around me feels like this is not where I should be going, that maybe I'm making the wrong decision, maybe I'm not like cut out to be a nurse, maybe that, you know, maybe this wasn't for me, because I feel that way because of just like, you know, studying myself. I realize I have like certain tendencies and traits, and it's just like maybe not being quick on my feet, not processing things fast enough, not moving fast enough. So it makes me wonder like, okay, will I even be able to actually thrive in a nursing environment when everything is fast paced, everything involves you to be quick on your feet and to move fast, to process fast. So I think that's really like my big concern, is like, will I thrive in a nursing environment? But I feel like I should follow this faint voice that tells me that this is where I should go. So moral of the story, right now as I'm in this transitional period, I can only kind of work myself through this phase by just telling myself that because you don't know, it's hard for you to make a decision. Like, because you don't know what the outcome will be, because right now there exists like two different outcomes. The outcome of, oh, you hate it and you regret your decision, or the outcome of, okay, this is hard, but I find this to be very rewarding and fulfilling. Because I don't know which one will be the actual result of me going through nursing school, it's hard for me to make that decision. So saying all this to say that right now, as you're in a transitional point, to not be so hard on yourself. You cannot get the answer. Like, as much as you try to press on yourself and tell yourself, oh, I'm going to meditate and journal, because you don't know how something is going to look like, don't expect there to be some grand answer that will tell you this is where you need to be. Because I don't believe in following something because I don't believe in not doing something because you are scared or like you don't know how it would turn out to be. Even if you feel some sense of doubt or fear in the path that you're going on, still go for it. I think the only time we should kind of try to find an exit is when we are at the point of no return, meaning we have completely burned ourselves out and we have lost our identity and who we are in that career, in whatever it is that we're doing. I think that's when we should pivot. But I don't think right now, even as I'm confused, I don't think I need to pivot when I have no idea what the outcome of my decision would be. And just to remind myself that life is built for me to make mistakes. And just because I want to have a perfect, well planned answer of what I want to do, I don't have that right now because I lack experiences. Like, there's no way that you can force yourself in this moment, if you're like me, to have this well planned out path for yourself when you lack the experience to know how it is you're going to feel in whichever path you decide. So just be like, just take it easy and just be kind to yourself and show yourself grace, because there's no way for you to know what is the best decision. And honestly, every decision that you make may not be the best decision, but you find a way to kind of make it better. You know, like you find a way to make it better, because maybe you made a decision now, and 5 years ago your past self would have, never made a decision like that, but you've made it. And your past self would have thought, oh, life would have been miserable, like things would have been terrible if I made this decision, but you made it, and things may not be as bad. You find a way to make it better, any decision that you make, until it's to the point of no return, where you cannot find yourself going back to whatever it is that you've created for yourself. And then that's when you have to find some type of exit route, or have to take a break for a little bit from whatever it is that you're doing. So all of this being said, I'm just like, okay, in this point of transitioning, I don't need to think about it anymore. I think the more I think about it, the more confused I am, because I am trying to think myself into an experience when I don't have access to that experience. Not until I actually get into the field and start school will I actually really understand why, or if this is where I want to be. And I know that it's like, okay, you should have like had more working experiences and stuff like that, but it's not like as easy as like doing that, because I have had volunteer experiences, and I have been into kind of exposed myself to healthcare. But I think it's one thing to kind of watch, and it's one thing to do. So I wouldn't know until I do the work of a nurse. I wouldn't know until I'm putting myself into those shoes and actually performing and doing all those tasks that a nurse would do. So it is what it is, and just kind of learn to sit with this emotion, even if it's very uncomfortable. And it's just something that you accept, at least for now. You surrender to it. I don't know. You surrender to not knowing. It's a mystery. Life will continue to be a mystery, and you never know what the other side will bring. So just kind of give yourself grace in this moment. It's hard. It's really hard to have it all planned out and figured out, and you can't. So I kind of left it at that. I think that was kind of like the ultimatum I gave to myself. I was like, well, you're not gonna know, so you might as well just let it go and just stop letting this consume you, because it was consuming me at one point. I was like, maybe I can change my mind, but it is what it is, and I think everything will fall into place the way that it was meant to be. So you may still be pursuing that path, but all of a sudden something kind of leads you into a different direction, and that's perfect. That's how it was supposed to play out. But still pursue what it is you feel drawn to, what it is you feel called to, even if it's a faint voice. Still pursue it. I think the only time we may need to reconsider things is when we can't think of reasons to do something. We don't have a why. If you have a why and you have a calling, I would say fully send. But if you can't really place a why to what it is you're doing, then that's when we should reconsider it. But still learn to just give things a try, and then just learn to fail. I'm telling myself it's okay for me to fail at this. It's okay, because at least I tried. At least I tried, and now I know that this is not what I want to do. Because in a world where there's so many different occupations and so many things that you can be involved with, it's good to start canceling things out and knowing, okay, this is not something I want to do, this is something I want to do. Because the more options exist, I feel like you're not as close to getting to where you want to be. Like if there's so many options that exist that you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, then it's harder for you to make a decision. But like if your options are starting to narrow down because you're experimenting with different things, now you start to see, okay, I don't want to do that, and your options become more like narrow to what you actually want to do. So I'm not going to take more of your time because I already talked for 15 minutes, and like my, you know, when you talk too much and you start to feel in your throat, like that's how I'm feeling right now. But anyways, I'm just gonna leave you guys be and hope you guys learn something and kind of gain some kind of sense of peace and comfort from this video and feel more clarity about where it is that you're trying to go. As I'm taking my new path, I hope you as well find your new path or take on the path that you're already on. And I'll see you guys in another video that I post. So bye.